Hey everyone, it's Jen here at Jam Studios, and today we're reviewing the TC-Helicon Perform V. So it's a mic stand mounted special effects unit, and it comes with an accompanying app that you can get on Android or on iOS, so works for pretty much everyone. And we're just going to go through some of the main settings and features today. So let's see, first things first, super easy to set up. It is a really tight fit on a thin mic stand, so if you are more partial to the thicker mic stands, beware, you may need to do a little bit of DIY to make yourself an extra boom arm for this unit. Secondly, it comes with its own power, plugs into the back there, XLR in, XLR out, standard stuff, we like it. And as you can see, room for a headphone jack so you can hear what you're doing, so you can preset either during a gig or listen back while recording. Okay, so first things first, you plug in the microphone, I'm going to take it off talk for a second, and it asks you to set the gain. You press this gain button here, top left, hold it down for 2 seconds and sing as loud as you're going to, so "Ay," and it tells you. Meaning this little LED here, if you're sort of singing it's green, fine, perfect, not too loud, get a little louder, and you see it flashes red. Which means that you're over pushing. Now, the main features of this, if you do use a condenser microphone or one of the TC accompanying mics with the trigger buttons, you can power that using your 48-volt button here. And there's lots of different stuff that this comes with. Basic anti-feedback, which adds that little bit of compression, EQs it, and if all else fails, reins in the volume to stop you squealing. We do always recommend that you pull your microphone back past the speakers so that you don't hit feedback, but we know it happens. Okay, you've got your tone here, your correction going on, and that does a little bit of EQ, compression, etc., etc. So your basic effects, just to kind of round out the tone a little bit. You can hear that it is compressed, you can hear that it is doing sort of the usual studio stuff to your voice. Which is an interesting concept to work with live, but then some people do expect it these days. And here we have an interesting one. This is pitch correction. This will only correct to the nearest semitone. It cannot correct full-on fluffs. It can't, but it can help you quite a bit. So imagine for a second if I'm struggling, and you can see on this dial here, it also acts as a tuner, which is a little unnerving, got to admit. You could start with a pitch and go, hey. You can see I'm a little sharp there, so hey. And you're struggling to match that the whole time. If you turn on pitch correction, it'll do it automatically for you. So if I go for to my mind, it sounds a little heavily affected. Think your auto-tune, your melodyne, that kind of effect. That's to taste. With live music, there's always that kind of debate as to how much effect you want to be layering on, but if you're having a really bad day, maybe try it out. Or if you're having a really effect-heavy song, something very poppy, something high up in your range, and you're just not sure whether you're going to get right to the nearest semitone, maybe give it a go. Okay, so that's the basics. Let me take those off for a moment. In fact, we don't need feedback today either. Okay, so 3 preset buttons. Each one of these has 2 settings. So you can turn them on and off manually. So right now, we see we're on preset number 1. Nothing wrong there, so nothing's on to start with. So let's have a look at the different things that we've got. We've got doubling, and if I press that and hold it a couple of seconds, you can see we can double up, and I turn up the effect to how much I want it. If you keep spinning that dial round, which is nice and loose, doesn't click, you get different kinds of doubling, depending on what color the LEDs are. So you've got 4 different kinds of effect per effect. Then we've got this kind of doubling here, which is a little closer, a little tighter knit, bit robotic. And this one here that actually adds a lower male voice, that kind of Barry White effect, super helpful. Okay, let's take that off, that's weird. Reverb, we have our standard kind of reverb going on. So right now we've got the most effective one, the hello kind of stuff. Then you back down to the next one. So it is a hair trigger sensitive. And this one's a little bit more like being in a cavern. This one is very, very echoey, considering it's actually a reverb setting. Very big boom to it. That's more of a special effects one. This one, I would say, is probably your standard. So kind of smaller space, smaller room, kind of big hall reverb. So let's stick with that for a second. Let's go on to the echo. Oh, hello. Let's set that. Okay. So on this light blue setting here, average echo going on. On this one, you can see it's really, really tight echo. Really, really tight to the original vocal. This one rings out a lot more, so it actually continues for longer. That kind of stuck in a cave going echo. You can also, let me see this next one here. Oh, it does turn off after a while, so you have to be careful. This one's tight again. And very clear, so not much boom to the end of it. So when you're using the echo, you can use this tap tempo button here. For those of us who aren't used to performing live, maybe when you have a varying beats per minute, maybe it slips and slides a little bit, you can't set it very rigidly because then you'll fall out of time. So what you can do, if I take it off talk, and you've got an echo here, and you want to get it a little more tight, then you tap it. So you normally tap it to the crotchet, quarter note. You can obviously do it to the quaver or the eighth note, depending on what kind of thing you want, if you want it quite fast. So let's see if I were to take it slowly. And if I were to take it a little faster, there. And you get it in time on the beat. Okay, so those are the different kinds of effects you can have. If you continue and press that, ooh, hello, you get a blue section there, ooh, meaning each numbered section has its, each numbered preset has its own accompanying special effects. So you could have, say, for example, turn on the green for the verse, and then in the chorus you want a little bit of doubling. You need a little bit of Barry White with you there. Let's get rid of Barry. Let's put a little bit of regular doubling on there. So say it's a heavy chorus and you want just a little bit there. It sounds like I'm being accompanied by Mickey Mouse. Okay, so say you want a little bit of echo and doubling in the chorus, but you don't want it in the verses. You just want some reverb in the verses. So you sing your verse, you know, da 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 da, and chorus, da 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 da, verse, da 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 da, and it's as quick as a tap. Because this thing is so brightly illuminated, you'd have to be like miles away not to be able to see the buttons on stage. And because they're color-coded, it's really easy to find your settings. Okay, so let's have a look at the other things that we can do with this. Talk button. So say, for example, you want to take the effects off when you talk, and you talk to the audience and say, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you're an amazing crowd. And this next one is don't look back in anger. And then you put it back on. That kind of thing. Now, the main thing that I want to show off here, and it took me a minute to figure it out, admittedly, is the accompanying app, the Perform V beaming app. Now, what this does, this uses the speaker from your phone to beam directly into a little microphone here, sends a data signal to your effects unit, and does a preset for you. It does it by a lot of stuff. So actually, let's see, I'm not sure whether, we'll probably have to take a screenshot of the app actually to make it nice and clear. But on the app, you've got loads of different things. You can go by genre. So let's go on to preset number 2, and let's see what they say for a character voice. So you can pick a character voice. Let's say I'm going to use Mod Flanger. And I'm going to hit beam on the phone. Your volume must be up. Let's beam that directly into the microphone. Reminds me of 90s dial-up. See it flash blue there, meaning that that's on. So you notice that's actually not done much at the moment, but if I press that, you get the special effects. So it does a hit effect. And it tells you on the app what you're going to get. So when you press the blue, you get the blue, that's your hit. When you take it off, that's the rest. And you can customize everything to within an inch of its life. I mean, you've seen the degrees you can do on, say, reverb, where you can have it to about, what's this, like 12 different degrees of intensity. So you can dial it right down according to taste or according to the space. Let's try beaming a song. So I'm going to go ahead and pick, ooh, Bad Romance, Lady Gaga, yes, tune. And this one says it's got the effect, the main effect is an echo, and the hit effect is doubling, so that's going to be for the chorus. So let's see. Actually, I think I've already beamed it to that one, but let's just do it for the camera. So you hit beam again, goes 3, 2, 1 into the little microphone. Flash back to the 90s. And it's done it. So you can hear, for example, if you're doing the ra, 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 roma, roma, ma, you've got your verse there. And if you want to go into the chorus, I want your love and I want your revenge, you and me. And you can see that that's doubled up, that's added double onto it. Tap it, back into the verse, tap it, back into the chorus. If we want to go a little slower, ra, 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 Roma, Roma, ma, ga, ga, ooh la la, want your bad romance, and you can speed it up according to what you're doing live. I find that incredibly useful if you want to do nice slowed down sections, or you just want to kind of speed up and engage the audience a bit more. It's great for live. The only thing I'm going to say about the beaming, let's take the echo off again. The only thing I'm going to say about the beaming, because it operates on sound, it uses the speaker to microphone technique to actually get the information across, you're not going to be wanting to do that on stage. So that limits you to sort of 3 beams, or you could use each one of these as 2 different presets, and that way you've got 6 songs preset. That limits you to the number of effects you can use realistically in a gig. Now, if you've only got 1 or 2 numbers where you need a load of special effects and the rest you can manually mess with, fine. It does make using it to its fullest potential a little difficult. So it's not like the much more advanced units where you can have dozens and dozens of presets, enough for a whole gig. Okay, so that's the basics of it. This is actually really intuitive once you spend 5-6 minutes with it. Again, the color coding helps a lot, and you can mess with your own kind of versions of things. You can go super extreme, use the talk button when you want to, and then go back to singing in whatever style you want. Let's just try. I'm going to try that Lady Gaga one more time using the pitch correction. So let's try ra 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 roma roma ma ga ga ooh la la, want your bad romance, I want your love and I want your revenge, you and me could write a bad romance. Whoa, caught in a bad romance. And that works really well. You can see that you can intuitively work with it as you perform live. You do have to cast your eyes down a little bit, but not too much. You can feel the buttons. They're very tactile. They're big, which is good. Little fiddly buttons, no good on stage. One thing they never consider for female performers as well, if we've got the nails on, you need a nice big button to press as well. Okay, so all in all, yeah, a couple of things to negotiate with this unit, namely how tight it wires onto the mic stand, how bright it can be. It's like having your own extra LED setting, so be sure you've got your foundation nice and thick. And it does have limitations in terms of what you can do with it live with the beaming technology. However, if you put 3 heavily affected songs on in one set, in your intermission, beam the other 3 through, it's a pretty quick turnaround, and that does work pretty well. So it's negotiable, definitely negotiable. As an entry-level effects unit, it actually does way more than you probably ever use. And it's a good introduction to gauging what kind of effects you'd want to use in live performance. Not bad at all. Okay, stay tuned for future reviews. Thanks for your time today. Be sure to subscribe, save, like, share, all that good stuff, and we'll be back soon.